Hi, my name's Olie Jacobs. I'm the head engineer at Real World Studios down in the west of England. As far as we're aware, the biggest purpose-built control room in Europe. This is the Woodrum Studio, which is adjacent to the big room. It can function as the big room can, as its own recording studio with a complete setup, Pro Tools and console inside. Or as we're using it at the moment, we're using this as the live space and the big room as the control room. So at the moment we're in overdub world. We've just finished the main tracking of the band and we're kind of overdubbing pianos and bits of acoustics and mandolins and ukuleles and all that kind of stuff. So we've got on the piano, fairly standard in here, pair of Sherps or a pair, half decent pair of condensers, and then I've put a 67 in the middle which is just kind of acting as a mono thing. It's quite a basic piano setup. The piano plays quite a small part in this album, but we've got the binaural head going. That's been used for kind of room mic, and so room mic for the piano, room mic for the acoustic guitars, and we've just been doing backing vocals and kind of shouts and claps around it as well. Over here, originally this was the setup for, what was here originally? This was originally percussion world, and then it's now become acoustic guitar world. As you can see, they've got like full video link up to next doors, and so when the band are playing together, even if they're in separate spaces, everyone can see everyone, zero latency, high definition. They can see the Pro Tools screens on there as well if they want. And then, binaural head for room mics on that. There's electric guitars in here. There's an amp in here. I was using this with the guitarist playing next door. So he's in with us and we're using this. And the great thing about this is we can open up the door, then really crank the amp and have the room mic. So again, the binaural head constantly playing a role of like room microphone, even on stuff like guitars and that kind of overdub. So if we can squeeze past here. Over here, this is being used as storage at the moment, but we also have a complete control room setup. So a lot of producers, a lot of engineers like to work in just this room. And obviously as budgets have got tighter, this has become a much more affordable way to record. So this is based around a SSL AWS 924 with the usual Pro Tools. There's a single HDX, 32 IO. We've also got the BCM 10 in here, which has been recently restored. So from the Woodrum and the big room, there's a few doors between them. Out here, this is actually where the bass cabs ended up, just to get it out of the way for a bit of isolation. And so the big room's become mostly a control room on this session, as I say. Again, a lot of sessions just work fully in this room. So 2 booths, side booth, back booth. We've got a B piano set up here, so the Yamaha in here, much brighter. And we've also got the upright piano, which we haven't yet used on this session. So there's 3 piano options across the rooms, which are all slightly different. Got the Hammond Leslie set up in here as well. That's just been the odd small overdub on this session. So it's just kind of stayed in the room where it was really. And then if we head into the back booth here, which has become a complete mess. We haven't used this for a little while. We finished recording drums a few days ago, really. But if I turn on the light, oh no, that is on. Dark. Put this up so we can actually see what's going on. So this is the back booth. This is a really dry room. I use this a lot when we're doing kind of like reggae records or I guess anything where we need a really tight drum sound. So on this, we started with it in the main room and eventually moved the whole lot into here to kind of get the sound we were after on this particular record. There's nothing particularly unusual going on drum-wise. There's 47 as a mono. I've got these Extinct BM9s, which are made in the UK. This is a kind of newish microphone, which wonderful ribbon microphone. So we've got a pair of those on the overheads. 4-on-4 ULSs on all the toms. Usual 57 on top. There's a 4-on-4 on the bottom. 451 on the hi-hat. And then I think it's a M88, a 47 FET, and an NS10 sub on the kick. So yeah, there's nothing particularly mad going on in here. Again, he's isolated, but he's got video link up. We can change that. So when we're going into overdubs, we might switch and put the Pro Tools system on there. But right now, he's got us in the control room on there. So he feels like he's still part of the family, even when he's locked in this booth. So this has visual through to the Woodrum from here. So often on the last record we did with this artist, we actually put the singer in here, and then yeah, he got kicked out for the drums on this one. This is the big room. This is, as far as we're aware, the biggest purpose-built control room in Europe. It's based around a 72 channel SSL. This is a 9000K, which was installed in 2004. And in here, we often have all the musicians in the room together. So we might have like drums set up on the stage, guitars around. We've got a couple of booths that we can put amplifiers as well. And then there's the usual kind of collection of outboard that you'd expect to find in a studio like this. So on this session, most of the vocals are guide vocals, and we've put the singer in this booth over here. On this occasion, it's the singer's in here. He's mostly doing guide vocals. He's got his own space to kind of work. He can see all the musicians on the TV. He kind of still feels a part of the session with us, and he just pops in here when he needs to put down a guide vocal. This room's a little unique in that the entire console is actually on wheels, so it was modified to be able to slide to the very back of the room. So everything unplugs, some track goes down, the whole console wheels out of the way. A projector comes down, a film mixing console goes in the back, and then we're a Dolby approved 7.1 mix room. So we do a bunch of film mixing in here, as well as kind of mixing for picture, for music mixing, for example. Most recently being the Roger Waters live album that was mixed here. Yes. What else is there to say? That's probably about it.